Well, Peter.
Hey.
How you doing?
Excellent.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've heard a lot about you, and I'm excited to get into this.
Oh, it's great to have you on board.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I've been working with Manny and the guys, and we've already concepted out a lot of stuff already, and I have lots of things to show you. So, yeah. What did you bring?
Well, what I did is I just brought just some early ideas on texture.
Oh, okay, great.
So a lot of what I'm trying to get my head around right now is how to make this suit hit on some of the flavor that was talked about. I know you guys have had your initial meeting about 30 years in the future or so, the paramilitary special ops angle. One of the things I thought might be interesting to bring to it is a certain kind of suit finish on a fine level. I brought in these images of lizards and other. This is actually an aluminum reflector from an industrial light.
Nice.
And what I did is I like the progressive distortion of the texture. So like here's a great snakeskin kind of tooth.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking about is that there might be possibilities.
Yeah,
in
actually,
your
these
suit.
are the early sketches that when we first started. This is
Yeah.
show them, but go ahead and take a look.
Well, and I got emailed a few of these, but God, these are beautiful drawings.
Thank you.
And I remember, I didn't see this one. Yeah, what I like about it is like the lightweight, and yet it looks like it's very thoroughly articulated with lots of little joints.
Yeah,
and
they definitely
clasps.
wanted the whole layered look to it. So.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing to do too, is to have it layered and yet be relatively close and form-fitting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these were the early, pencil sketches and pen sketches. And
Yes.
we, went in a little further. I was just following their direction in terms of what their aesthetics were, and basically, followed what they wanted. And I have some of the silhouettes that I showed them earlier.
Yeah.
So just basically taking the sketches and just pushing them a little further, adding. We fine-tuned exactly what we wanted. We wanted more straps, a little bit more layering, more hard surfaces and soft surfaces, and I don't think we really got into texture yet. So, but yeah, it's good that you brought that. So.
Yeah, and this is just a micro detail. Some of this will not show up until we get into the finer 3D modeling.
Right.
But as far as the forms, the only thing I can think of right now that's hitting me is that it might be nice to have some slightly asymmetrical element that makes it iconic.
Yeah.
Because if everything is perfectly symmetrical, it's going to be logical, but if there's some possibility of having one artifact, maybe a tool on one side, maybe some sort of element of defensive mechanism or a gun that's holstered slightly off center, something of that nature.
Makes it more unique.
Makes it more unique and recognizable.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. So let me see some of these others.
These were some of the just early accessories and stuff like that. How the pouches were going to work. What's going to be in the pouches. Med kits or flash grenades or things like that. Early buckle designs. But these were very early, so yeah.
Well, one of the things, I was meeting with Paul and going over the helicopter, and one of the things that we might want to talk about is the integration of certain metals and materials.
Yeah.
Obviously, he could be very drab and have that sort of matte finish to a lot of his costumes, so he doesn't draw attention.
Right.
But it might be really great to have little color accents, maybe some technology dropped in.
Right.
And I can see from that wrist element, that might be a great opportunity to suggest that.
Absolutely. They wanted, I don't know in terms of how far they're going to take it with like lights or, things like that, but they definitely did mention things like, mechanical objects that are being, placed all over. So, yeah.
Oh, and I see you got a breakdown there, a good breakdown drawing. Okay.
This is based off the, the early sketches. They did a proximity, proxy model, all that kind of stuff. So I just went over that and drew over it and did a front and back view.
It's nice. That's really nice.
Very simplistic, but I can see what you're saying about the whole, very symmetrical. And
yeah. Well, you have these, these various, pouches that can hold different things. Maybe some of the pouches suggest through their shape what's inside of it.
Right.
Almost like how a camera case sometimes has the bulge to acknowledge the lens.
Yeah, from the shape of the camera.
Maybe we could actually kind of reverse engineer some objects.
Okay.
That don't have to be justified.
Right.
But you could have some cool, interesting shapes that look interesting, and let the person who's looking at this imagine that it could be a grenade or a date book.
Okay. Yeah, I do like the idea of a gun being placed somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's see, just early sketches of the face, the head.
Now I hear you guys are going to do a photo shoot. Is that right?
We are going to do a photo shoot.
You found an actor?
We have a model, and we'll do a lot of shoots. I'll just basically take his head and just do paint over and all that kind of stuff.
And so there's definitely he's already been aged. So Geo from what I gathered, and what I've picked up on this, the way it's being scripted so far, is that he's going to have some slices.
Pretty scarred up, yeah.
Pretty scarred up. He's already mangled.
You'll have a lot of like
pre-mangled.
Exactly. You know,
for your pleasure.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's
more front and back.
More front and back. Okay. Well, you know, right off the bat, I definitely have a good feel for where you're going with this. A couple things I was thinking about while looking at this is that where you have some of the joints, and maybe this is something that can be expanded on, is having some of the surfacing have an industrial designed aspect where there might be creases that have ridge lines, chamfers, so it almost looks like a high quality injection molded surfacing, like some of this. Yes, exactly, like some of these drawings.
Yeah.
And if we could expand on that, it'll take it outside of any sports type of equipment and put it into its own league, where it's so customized that it's almost like it's molded just for him.
Right. Well, I mean, it would be great if you, definitely do some work for this. Maybe do a paint over or drawings over it. And I'd just love to see your work. So.
Well, maybe what we'll do is we'll take one of the model outputs, and I know you've got a good sheet there going. Maybe what we can do is get a model kicked over with some of these changes, and then I'll throw my 2 cents in.
Absolutely. I mean, I want to see that.
And I'll put some texture and tooth to it, because some of the ideas I'm talking about with color, I'll throw some ideas out. We can have a dialogue on that and see where to take it.
That sounds great.
That sounds good. Well, I'm excited. I'll leave you this copy.
Okay.
And definitely email me the rest of these. I'd love to look over it more in detail. And we'll meet up soon.
Very soon.
All right. Hey, man.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
All right.
Appreciate it.